Murphy, no, what are you doing? That's my Shakespeare homework. No, I'm never going to be able to find out about Shakespeare. What am I going to do now, Murphy? Huh?
Did you say Shakespeare?
Yeah, he ate my homework. Now I don't know what to do, and I don't know anything about his life.
Well, here. I'll let you two know a little bit about Shakespeare.
Thanks, Connor.
William Shakespeare was most likely born around April 23, 1564. When Shakespeare was 3 months old, the plague hit Stratford-on-Avon. He was the oldest of John and Mary Shakespeare's children. Their first 2 children did not live past infancy. William had 3 younger brothers, Gilbert, Richard, and Edmund, and 2 little sisters, Anne, who passed away at 7, and Joan. Their father, John Shakespeare, worked with leather and specialized in the soft white leather used on gloves and other similar items. He married Mary Arden of the prominent Arden family. John worked his way up and became a local official in Stratford. When William was 5, his father became the town bailiff, much like a mayor. A little while after that, John Shakespeare stepped back from public life. Shakespeare, as the son of a prominent Stratford citizen, attended Stratford's grammar school. Shakespeare likely attended until about he was 15. 3 years later, William Shakespeare married Anne Hathaway while she was 3 months pregnant with their first child, Susanna. They had 2 more children, twins, named Judith and Hamnet. Shakespeare's son, Hamnet, died in 1596 at the age of 11. His older daughter, Susanna, later married a Stratford doctor, John Hall. Their daughter, Elizabeth, Shakespeare's first grandchild, was born in 1608. In 1616, just months before his death, Shakespeare's daughter, Judith, married Thomas Quinney. The family unfortunately died out, leaving no direct descendants of Shakespeare. In 1594, Shakespeare joined up with the Lord Chamberlain's Company. They were the most popular of companies in the area. In 1599, Shakespeare joined a group that would build and operate a new playhouse, the Globe Theatre. This theatre became the most famous theatre of the time. With his share of profit from the Globe, Shakespeare could now purchase New Place, his new home in Stratford. Shakespeare has written more than 30 plays. These plays are usually divided into 4 categories: histories, comedies, tragedies, and romances. One of his first plays, a comedy, is The Two Gentlemen of Verona.
In The Two Gentlemen of Verona, there are only a handful of main characters. The two gentlemen are Valentine and Proteus. Valentine is a young man who is the best friend of Proteus at the beginning of the play. He is in a secret relationship with Sylvia and wants nothing more than to get married to his lover. At the beginning of the play, Valentine is leaving Verona for Milan. Proteus, the second gentleman of Verona, is a character with evil intentions in the play. Proteus can be described as the antagonist in the play. In the beginning, Proteus is in love with Julia, but later falls in love with Valentine's girlfriend Sylvia and gets Valentine banished. The Duke of Milan is an overprotective father of Sylvia, even going as far as locking her up in a tower at night as to prevent from her sneaking away at night. The Duke's main role in this play is to stand in the way of Valentine's love for Sylvia. The Duke wants to reserve his daughter in order to marry her away for political reasons, which was not uncommon at the time. The 2 female main characters in this play are Julia and Sylvia. In the beginning of the play, Sylvia is Valentine's love interest and Julia is Proteus's love interest. As said before, Sylvia is the daughter of the overly protective Duke. Sylvia lives a boring life and longs for some sort of excitement. This is most likely why she likes Valentine's nightly visits so much. Julia is a young noblewoman from Verona. As the play progresses, Julia grows suspicious of Proteus and his loyalty, and towards the end of the play she travels to Milan disguised as a man to spy on Proteus. The Two Gentlemen of Verona begins with Valentine and Proteus saying their emotional goodbyes. Valentine is being sent off by his father to Milan so he can continue to grow into a true nobleman. Proteus is to stay in Verona where he can continue to play hard to get with Julia, who is also playing hard to get. Julia is acting less interested than she actually is, and is unsure if Proteus is truly that devoted to Julia. Proteus's father is then forced to send his son away to Milan so he can also grow into a true nobleman. When he arrives in Milan and is reunited with his best friend Valentine, he immediately does what all best friends do. He falls in love with Sylvia, Proteus's one love. This then leaves the scene we will be performing, which begins with Proteus selling out his friend to Sylvia's father, the Duke of Milan. Proteus hints that Valentine has been secretly meeting with Sylvia at night. Proteus flees the scene as he sees his ex-best friend coming in to chat with the Duke. This is where our portion of Act 3, Scene 1 begins. During the scene, the Duke discovers incriminating evidence on Valentine that proves he has been secretly visiting his daughter Sylvia during the night. Out of anger, the Duke banishes Valentine from Milan. We will be performing Act 3, Scene 1. In this scene, I will be playing the role of Valentine, while Connor plays the role as the Duke of Milan.
Sir Valentine, whither away so fast?
Please, your grace, there is a messenger that says to bear a letter to my friends, and I am going to deliver them.
Be they of much import?
The tenor of them doth but signify my health and happy beings at your court.
Nay then, no matter. Stay with me a while. I am to break with thee of some affairs that touch me near, wherein thou must be secret. 'Tis not unknown to thee that I have sought to match my friend, Sir Thurio, to my daughter.
I know it well, my lord, and sure the match were rich and honorable. Besides, the gentleman full of virtue, bounty, worth, and quantities, beseeming such a wife as your fair daughter. Cannot your grace be as to fancy him?
No, trust me. She is peevish, sullen, forward, proud, disobedient, stubborn, lacking duty, neither regarding that she is my child, nor fearing me as if I were her father. And may I say to thee, this pride of hers, upon advice, hath drawn my love from her, and where I thought the remnant of mine ago should have been cherished by her childlike duty, I now am full resolved to take a wife, and turn her out to who will take her in. Then let her beauty be her wedding shower. For me and my possession she esteems not.
What would your grace have me do in this?
There is a lady in Verona here, whom I affect, but she is nice, and coy, and not esteems in my aged elegance.
Win her with gifts, if not the respect of words. Dumb jewels often in their silent kind, more than quick words do to move a woman's mind.
But she did not seem a present that I sent her.
A woman sometimes scorns what best contents her.
But she, I mean, is promised by her friends unto a youthful gentleman of worth, and kept severely from resort of man. Thou no man hath access by day to her.
Why then, I would resort to her by night.
But the doors be locked, and the keys kept safe, that no man hath recourse to her by night.
What lets but one may enter the window?
Her chamber is aloft, far from the ground, and built so shelving that no one cannot climb it, without apparent hazard of his life.
Why, then a ladder made quaintly of cords, to cast up with a pair of anchoring hooks, would serve to scale another hero's tower, so bold Leander would adventure it.
Now, as thou art a gentleman of blood, advise me where I may have such a ladder.
When would you use it? Pray, sir, tell me.
This very night, for love is like a child, that longs for everything that he can come by.
By 7 o'clock I will give you such a ladder.
For hark thee, I will go to her alone. How shall I best convey the ladder thither?
It will be light, my lord, that you may bear it under a cloak of any length.
A cloak as long as thine will serve the turn.
Aye, my good lord.
Then let me see thy cloak. I'll get one of each another length.
Why, any cloak will serve the turn, my lord.
How shall I fashion me to wear a cloak? I pray thee, let me feel thy cloak upon me.
Hey, good.
'Tis so, and here's the ladder for the purpose. Why, fightin', for thou art Merap's son. Go, base intruder, overwhelming slave, bestow thy fawning smiles on equal males, and think my patience more than thy desert is privilege for thy heroess. Thank me for this more than all the favors. But if thou linger in my territories, by heavens, thy wrath shall far exceed thy love. I ever bore my daughter, or thyself. Begone, I will not hear the vain excuse, but as thou lovest thy life, make speed from hence.
And why not death rather than living torment? To die is to be banished from myself, and Sylvia is myself, banished from her. Is self from self a deadly banishment? What light is light if Sylvia be not seen? What joy is joy if Sylvia be not seen by? Unless it is to think that she is by, and feed upon the shadow perfection, except I be Sylvia in the night. There is no music in the nightingale, unless I look on Sylvia in the day. There is no day for me to look upon, if I be not by her fair influence, fostered, illuminated, cherished, kept alive. I fly not death to fly his deadly doom. Tarry I here, but attend on death. But fly I hence, I fly away from life.
Julia misses Proteus and decides to head to Milan. While disguised as a man named Sebastian, Julia has reached Milan and finds Proteus. Sadly, Proteus is found hitting on Sylvia. While Sebastian, aka Julia, is spying on Proteus, Valentine is captured by a gang of hooligans in the woods. Valentine lies about having killed a man, and the outlaws are totally impressed. They decide he should be the Robin Hood to their band of merry thieves, so they invite him to be the leader of their forest-dwelling gang. Valentine agrees to live with them in the forest, but makes them promise not to hurt any helpless travelers. Back in Milan, Sebastian, aka Julia, becomes Proteus' messenger and is tasked to deliver Julia's former ring to Sylvia. Julia is relieved when Sylvia rejects the ring because Julia admits she would have to have a catfight with Sylvia. Sylvia is still in love with Valentine even though he is banished. Sylvia attempts to find Valentine but is caught by Proteus in the woods. Proteus tries to convince Sylvia to love him and drop Valentine. Sylvia rejects Proteus, and then Proteus becomes mad and goes to assault Sylvia. Right before Proteus can do anything, Valentine rescues Sylvia. Valentine yells at Proteus for being an awful friend, and Proteus then apologizes. Sebastian, nearby, faints and then reveals that he is actually she, and she is Julia, Proteus' former girlfriend from Verona. Proteus takes one look at her and falls back in love. They then get engaged right there in the woods. The Duke appears in the woods and discovers that Valentine is not that bad of a guy after all and gives Sylvia to Valentine. Both couples decide to have a double wedding and a massive reception afterward at the Duke's place.
The scene we performed is very important to the whole play and to the theme of the play because it shows how love can turn the best of friends against each other. Proteus sells out Valentine all because he has also fallen in love with Sylvia. Valentine is completely disheartened when he learns that he is banished and can no longer go and visit Sylvia. He is so depressed he questions if life is worth living if he does not have Sylvia. For these reasons, the scene performed is very important and acts as a turning point in the play. The biggest themes present in the play are the themes of deceit, friendship, and love. Proteus deceives Valentine when he snitches on him to the Duke and still acts as his friend after it happens. The love both of these characters felt ended up ruining their very, very strong relationship. This play goes to show that love can make people do very crazy things.
As this is one of Shakespeare's first plays, if not his very first, it is obvious that he has some experience to gain. Some parts of this play seem very basic and straightforward in plot, which seems to have improved as Shakespeare began to write more plays. As Charles Nicholl, an author of For the Guardian, says, this play has a sense of immaturity and that the play works much better on stage than on page. The critic Edmund Malone was right when he spoke about both the poetry and the comedy of The Two Gentlemen of Verona are as perfectly Shakespearean as any of his other works. Hazlitt also recognized this in saying, there is throughout a careless grace and felicity which marks it for his.
Compared to other plays by Shakespeare, I enjoyed this one a lot. I liked how the play had more realistic issues rather than ghosts or some mystical creature, as it was a change of pace compared to what I was used to from Shakespeare. I enjoyed the scene that we performed because of the slight comedy in the part where the ladder is discovered, but it also shows true emotion with the depression expressed by Valentine when he finds out that he has been banished. The only portion of the play that I would criticize is the ending where Proteus and Julia get married. Proteus betrayed her on multiple occasions, including attempting to rape another woman. I do not understand how she just forgave him instantly and married him on the spot. Other than this, I believe this play was very quality for being Shakespeare's very first.